If you want to remain profitable, right, you need to understand this right here, which is number one, looking at the bigger picture. Now we're going to use this JP225 trade that played out, although I took these buys. If you watch through my previous videos, you saw I took a loss on JP around the 4-hour zone around this level, and I decided to wait on the daily level. You understand? Now, when they say looking at the bigger picture, which is very, very important right here. Now, due to the system I've always preached and told you about QM. Now, QMR works perfectly. If you trade QM, right, it works well when you focus on the higher time frame. You get me? QMR works well when you focus on the higher time frame. And these are the time frames I love finding QMR setups. Number one, I have the 1D time frame, daily time frame. Come in. 1D. What is this? 1D time frame. Number two, I focus on sometimes, right, I go to the 8 hours time frame, 8 hours time frame to look for some key levels. 8 hours time frame. I also go for the 4 hours time frame. And then lastly, I go to my 1 hour time frame. Now, for the 1 hour time frame, right, my lowest time frame I look for QMR setup is 1 hour. I don't go below 1 hour. If I want to execute my entry, I either execute my entry in either the 4 hours or the 1 hour time frame. Now you can see. Now let's quickly break down this QMR trade. If you watch the previous video, I explained the QMR type 1, although I've not talked about the type 2. But now let me break down this trade right here. Now you see. What did I say in QM, right? QM, you have to see a liquidity sweep. Now, this is a daily time frame. Take note. Liquidity sweep around this level. Liquidity got taken out by this candle. Change of character or break of structure, right? And then you're supposed to have a second break of structure. Now, the second break of structure is your structural liquidity. Now, remember I told you guys one thing. You have to know how to validate your structural liquidity. Be it if you trade SMC, I actually don't know about SMC, right? Be it if you trade SMC, be it if you trade QMR, be it if you trade any strategy that have to do with liquidity. Now, this right here. Now, this is how I tend to validate my structural liquidity, meaning your structural liquidity needs to be at a specific zone in the Fibonacci retracement zone, right? For a particular demand or supply to hold. Take note of that. Now, let's go to let me open my Fibonacci right here. Now, Fibonacci from the swing low, right? That's up your liquidity, meaning either your demand or your supply zone you wish to enter your trade. Maybe you see a daily order block, a 4 hours order block. You have to also validate the structural liquidity closer to it. Now, you take your Fibonacci to the lows of that particular candle that swept your liquidity to the break of structure that caused that formed the structural liquidity. Now, what do you see right here? What do you see right here? This is the Fibonacci. Now, can you see 50%? Now, do you see structural liquidity is below 50% zone? Now, I'm going to take out my part 2 right here. Now, this structural liquidity is below 50%, meaning it's a valid structural liquidity. You understand what I mean? Below 50%, and at the same time some structural liquidity can be above your 50%, like it's still valid, sitting above or below. Take note. But if your structural liquidity is kind of far away, like somewhere around this level, is not closer to the 50% or somewhere around this level, trust me, your zone is going to definitely fail. Now, this is one thing you gotta know. I think I'm going to pop up my setting real quick. Maybe you can screenshot it if you want. I'm coming. You can see it right here. Sorry, one more time. Now you can see it. You could just screenshot the settings for Fibonacci. Now this is my Fibonacci settings right here. Let me scroll down a little bit. Now you can see this. So yeah, that's it for this. Now let's break down this trade. Now this is the QM zone. Remember, I use APEX level entries. Although maybe in my next video I'm going to talk about entries, how to use the APEX. Now more often all the time, right? I work with an APEX level entry. Now this right here is an APEX entry. Go to your line chart. Meaning a support level. Remember, you don't just trade QMR blindly, right? QMR kind of like consists, for me, right? I don't just trade QMR alone, right? I also add other confluences to kind of validate a particular trade entry or a key level. Now, this right here is an apex. What is an apex? You can see it is a V is a V shaped. Meaning that place is a support. You get me now? Is a support. So I tend to go to my line chart and switch to and just mark out that support zone, meaning that is what apex level. Price will definitely come back and just wick it. Instead of normal SMC traders or normal OB entries, you tend to mark out your OBs like this, and you tend to be in drawdowns for too long. For me, 8% of the time I take apex entries. So this is it right here. Now let's go down to 4 hours time frame. Market tapped into the apex level, and then I had to look for what a internal what structure, a internal what confirmation in the 4 hours. I had to wait for 4 hours confirmation. You understand? Now this is what happened. What do you notice? Market tapped into the apex zone right here, wicked it. I needed to see what break of structure, or a break of resistance. You get what I mean? The same thing. You can go to your line chart. This is clearly what a resistance. People that understand support already, you know that this right here is what a resistance. Or most SMT traders will say break of structure, change of character. It's all what the same thing. Now back to your candlestick chart. Break of what structure happened or change of character happened right here. And what do you notice? The same thing. Now this was a pure SMC entry. You get me? This entry was not from QM. Although the higher time frame was a QM structure. But now my confirmation entry comes from what? Come from what? An SMC concept. Now, 4 hours what? Order block, 4 hours what? Fair value gap right here. If you go to your fair value gap, you can see there's a fair value gap or an imbalance. And what happened? Market will tap into what? 4 hours demand level. Although this is where I took my entry. But I just have to put it right here. Because when market came, I took one of my entry here at the first level, and then I took my remaining entry at this level. And my stop loss, first of all, my stop loss was below here, so I had to reduce my stop loss as soon as price moved away from my zone. So this was it. And this trade ended. Although the trade I'm not finished playing out, I'm still looking for more entries. If price should pull down to this, let me clear this. If JP can pull down to this particular zone, it would be nice for me to look for what more buys. Now this is a QM, liquidity sweep, change of character, inducement. Now this is a QM on its own right here. This is a QM. This is an inducement, or a structural liquidity. Now, how do we now validate this structural liquidity? Remember, as I told you at the earlier start of the video, right? 50% Fibonacci. From the low that swept the liquidity to the structural liquidity break of structural level. Now you can see now this is above 50%, meaning it's closer to my 50%, making it a valid structural liquidity. You get me now? So take note of this right here. So hopefully in the next couple of days or something, maybe next week, JP might come down to this level. It would be nice for me to take more buys from this zone comfortably. Get what I mean? Stop loss below the lows. I'm still targeting the overall daily target. Now this is a daily level right here. I'm still targeting this place. So if you should pull down there, then I'm very, very happy. I'll take my buys, apply risk management, and just see how it plays out. Give it a breathing space as well. So it is what it is. I just say I quickly break down the JP225 trade. Although currently I'm currently in the GBP USD sales at the moment. Probably if that trade is finished playing out, I'm going to make a video for that and show you the breakdown as well. Let me go here. I'm in a GBP sales. I took an APEX level sales, although I used QM.